So what's up, everyone? It is your girl, Beauty87 here, aka Grace. Sorry about my voice. I don't know what's going on with it because I don't have a cold. I don't feel sick at all, so I don't know what's going on with that whole thing here. But you know, the show must go on as it always goes on. So anyway, I got some palettes from What'sUp Beauty. They ended up having a 20% off sale during 4th of July. So I'll have a haul coming up with all the stuff I bought during 4th of July because it was a few bits here and there. I didn't buy like a super lot of stuff. I mean, but I guess it depends on what you call a super amount of stuff. But I have there's a Monsoon. I saw my girl, Dr. Ash, on her makeup. Got this in PR, and I have been wanting to try it for a while. So once she said it was fire, I just waited till a sale came, and I surely did grab it. Because since these are a bit on the older side, I know this one is, I don't want to grab it, and then you all might not necessarily be truly invested in it, and I paid regular price. So I was like, we're going to wait. And then the Geodes palette just came out recently. I know I saw Karen with it and a few other creators who get PR from the brand with it. So I figured I'd just go ahead and grab both since they're 20% off and see how I felt about the brand. So I believe these palettes go for $41 a piece. So it's the 20% off. I think we made 30 something bucks for it. This one kind of reminds me of like a more neutral version of what's the Mothership 3 palette everybody likes. That's what it makes me think of. I didn't bring it with me to confirm it. I'll try to see if I can put it on my Instagram stories to see how I feel. I didn't really go through a lot of my palettes to see what this could compare to. So for once, I don't have a whole bunch of palettes to show you at the beginning of this. I know, right? Who am I? I don't know. I guess my voice is like what's throwing me off or whatever. I don't know. But I got like 5 packages in the mail today for my 4th of July buying. So I wanted to film a couple of them with you all. So I think I'm going to combine this one with the Geodes palette and see how that goes. So we'll look at the Geodes palette now. Again, I believe this one was $41 as well. But like I said, they had a 20% off sale when you spent a certain amount. And I spent that amount buying both of the palettes. So that's how I got my 20% off. This is what she looks like on the inside. As you can see, they give you a lot of fun colors to work with. And then you get more like neutral mattes and to go with the colorful shimmers. So that's what I'm noticing in the pattern of both of these palettes. So I might try to combine them. I might do a separate look with each one of them. I don't know. I'm trying to decide right now. I'm thinking I might just do one with each palette and just get both the palettes out the way in the same video so we can get my thoughts on it. But I thought it was cute that they put the little business card in here because they have a store in Arizona, I believe, and they personalized and wrote on my card saying thank you, Grace, for me buying the package. So I thought that was really nice touch that they added to it. They have nail polishes mainly. That's what they're known for. And then they started making makeup brushes and eyeshadow palettes. I didn't buy the brushes. I was tempted to because I've really been wanting to try them, but I was like, I got so many brushes till I just couldn't push the trigger on the brushes yet, so I didn't. If you're curious to know what's on my eyes right now, this is the Fenty Cosmetics Druid palette. I actually did the video for this right before I started filming the video for these palettes. So I'm going to go off camera. I'll do the older one first, the Desert Monsoon. I'll do one eye look with that, and then I'll come back with the Geodes palette, and then we'll do a look with that, and then we'll talk about my thoughts and the quality of this palette overall. So I'll be right back. Okay, girl? Okay. Okay, so here's the eye look I did with the Desert Monsoon. So, I kept it simple. I literally just used this shade, this one, these two, and this, and that's how we got the first eye look that we have here. And then I'm gonna use the, the Geode palette for the second eye look. So, let's prime my eyelid. I feel like this looks like a look I would have came up with using the Astro Pink palette from Kaleidos. I have done a look with that palette. It looks extremely similar to this, so, but I haven't done a look with the Astro Pink palette with this exact look in like a really long time. But as soon as I saw this look, that's what it made me think of. I'm gonna drop my brush on. So we're gonna start off with the shade Canyon. Just a dark brown. I just kind of brought it all up in the crease and everywhere. Start off with, like I told y'all before, lately I've been doing my crease work first and then doing my outer V. And I usually do it the other way around, so I don't know what's going on. But lately I've just been deciding I need to switch up some stuff, so this is one of the things I'm switching up. By putting the crease shade in first and then doing the outer V last. And it's not too bad. So Adriangameover was all disappointed because his best friend went with his dad this weekend, and even though he's with his dad all week, so he's like, you mean to tell me I could stay with my dad all week, mommy? And you didn't tell me? I'm like, honey, his mom just told me like yesterday, Friday, when I messaged her to ask her what time it was okay to come pick her son up for the movies. That's when she told me. So I'm like, I can't tell you any sooner, Adrian, if I don't know. So that shade was Canyon. Now I'm using one Thunder for the Outer V. So I just put a lot on the brush at one time and kind of try to like blend it all together and into the crease at one time. I found like this shade was like hard to blend when I picked it up initially on the other side. It was doing a whole lot better on this side than it was on the other side. Because at first I was like, oh Lord, don't tell me it's like one of those you sit it down on a dry base and like it won't blend and it's just going to be stuck in that one spot. It takes a little bit more effort in blending with the darker shade, at least from the other side it did, to get like the pigmentation that I was hoping to have. So that's just something you have to keep in mind when using this palette, or at least that's my experience while using this palette, that it takes a lot to blend out the darker Outer V shade. I like a lot. Here we go. Now I'm going to take the pink shade, because y'all know I had to use the pink matte in this palette. I just had to. That's the shade Tempest. Or Tempest. So it makes sense that they're Arizona, that they'd have a palette called Desert Monsoon. So I'm patting down the pink shade before I start blending it out, because I want as much pigmentation as possible. Because even though I use the lighter base, I noticed that some shades still like fade away quicker than others. I don't know what's going on lately, but I feel like lately a lot of palettes do that. Again, I know one of you all asked me about that when it came to Adept, because one of you all said you used the palette and it was like fading on you. I feel like lately it's been doing a lot of eyeshadows. I don't know if it's like because of inflation that they have an issue with like not being able to get the same pigments that they were using in the past, or what exactly is going on with the pigmentation of shadows. But I feel like a lot of shadows have been doing that to me lately that I don't feel like used to do that. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm not necessarily a fan. But this pink is lasting pretty well, so I'm liking that. And the chocolate brown is looking nice and pigmented. It just takes, like I said, a little bit more blending than I expected. So now we're going to take the glitter glue and cut the crease. And then I'll start off with that blue shade Downpour. Then I'll use the shade Succulent in the inner corner and a little bit toward the inner portion of the eye on the lid. And then they're real cute, like. Blend it on out. One thing that sucks about following the shape of my eye, I'm going to shade Downpour now, is that because my eyes have two different shapes, sometimes I feel like the eye look looks weird on one eye as opposed to the other one. I feel like I've said that in videos in the past though, but when I cut my eye with glitter glue, that's always what I notice. So with these, you kind of have to pat them on, because you try to like blend it out. Like I was just doing, you saw how like it was looking kind of patchy, but when you just press it down, it has a tendency to stay where you want it to, and it gets you more impactful color. So with these, I'm finding I just have to press it down on the lid like so. And it will look a whole lot better like it is now. You can see the blue and purple shift in it. I love that everybody's using these colors that have blue and purple shifts, because y'all know I'm all about the blue and purple shift life. I'm all about blue and purple and green. Like if they had a darker green matte in here, I'd use the pink in the crease. I'd use this shade on the lid. I'd use the purple in the inner corner like I did. And then I'd have like a dark green on the outer V. I feel like that would have been such a cool look. But you see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the pink isn't as pigmented as we first put it on. But it could just be because we added that lid shade. I'm not 100% sure. So I put a little bit of it like right in here on the other eye. So I feel like what you do on one side, of course, you know you gotta do the other one. So I'm just trying to make them even by doing it on both sides. So Now let's take our inner corner brush and go into the shade Succulent, which is the name of the light purple one. And just drag it down the rest of the way into the inner corner for our finished eye look. Now I'm going to go take my Look at Me, I Think I'm Sexy pictures and do the other eyeliner and mascara, and then I will come back and I will have a look for you all with the Geodes palette, and then we'll talk about my thoughts about the brand and the formula of these palettes overall. Okay, girl? Okay. Okay, y'all, so this is the last look I came up with this palette. I literally just used this little section right here. So these 1, 2, 3, 4 shades I used to create what's going on here, but I must say I love the way this looks. I did have to dip into the Desert Monsoon to get the depth I needed for the outer V, because the darker shade in here is what we're going to put in the crease now, which is called Terra. And as you can see, that's not deep enough for outer V shade for some of my skin tone. It's blended into the crease quite nicely and giving us that airbrush effect I've been talking about. I've been doing and starting off my eye looks with, but it's not deep enough to give what I need for the outer V, so I ended up having to, I started off trying to use this shade for the outer V as well, but after I saw it wasn't about to happen, then I ended up going ahead and, you know, doing the other look instead. So I'm gonna start off with this shade like I did, and then I'm gonna go into Desert Monsoon and get that deeper shade that we use in there. But what you do one side, you gotta do the other one. I started off with this one as my outer V shade, so I'm gonna start off and then we're gonna dip into the other one I told you all was difficult to blend and use that one. Now my eyelashes are all stuck together and crusty because they tired of me putting mascara on, so I'm like, yeah, I don't know how well these pictures about to look, because my eyelashes are just like, they're just fed up with me. I think this is like my 6th eye look of the day, so my eyelashes are like, look, I'm tired of you. What I put in my waterline was one of the colors from the Lush Life collection from ColourPop, the eyeliner pencils from like last year, and it's still creamy and smooth and looks really nice. And then I just put the match yellow shade called Lava into the brush down on the lower lash line, so that way we could have, you know, the lower lash line all covered and look nice. So that's what I did. Let me dip into the shade Thunder again a little bit more, because I guess I didn't pick up enough on the first go round, so I'm gonna make sure it's deep enough. And then I think I just ended up going back in after I put the shimmer on the lid to buff around and make sure I had the depth I wanted on the outer V. So we'll go back into Desert Monsoon one more time just for that purpose, but otherwise hopefully we're done with Desert Monsoon, because that's what I'm hoping for. So where's the brush? Okay, now we're gonna take the shade Lava, and I'm starting by rubbing it on the lower lash line over here because I didn't do it on this side. I did it on the other one. I want to do it on camera with you all, because you know we're supposed to use the palettes together. I just didn't want to off camera to save for some time. I used to be annoyed with other YouTubers when I saw them do that, but I'm like, now I understand why, because it saves so much time on videos and it saves on editing. Because I used to be annoyed when Alyssa Ashley would like go off camera and do one eye and then coming back. I'm like, why don't you just do them both on camera? But once I had to actually start like editing lots of videos, I was like, now I see why you do this. I understand. So I'm patting the shade Lava into the crease. And as you can see, it's very pigmented. I did use a white base instead of the lighter base I was using earlier, because I wanted to make sure that this shade showed up after the pink kind of did a little fade thing. I wanted to make sure I gave as much pigmentation as possible to it. So I was like, let me go ahead and use the white base. I just used the Glam White White base instead of the light base I was using prior, to make sure this is nice and pigmented. But look how pigmented it is on my skin tone. I did not expect it to be that pigmented at all, so I'm very impressed with it. I'm just blending it out just a little bit. I tried not to blend it out a whole lot, because I felt like if I blended out too much, the shade would start fading and then disappearing. And I wanted to make sure you could see the crease like you can here, so I'm glad it worked out for me in that regard. Now we're going to use the late great Mel Thompson's favorite brush from Refer. They actually made this brush for her. She said it was after a MAC brush that they discontinued that wasn't animal hair anymore, and they made synthetic. But this is the Refer number 21. So I'm going to cut the crease with this and my Beige Cosmetics glitter glue. going to take the shade Peardo. That's the green shade I have all over the lid. It is stunning. Again, with these, you need to pat them on. Don't try to like rub and blend them on the way you do with normal shadow, because I find when I put them on top of glitter glue like that, they don't work. It just leaves patches and spots from where you try to put it on your lid. So with these, girl, just pat it on. If you're going to do glitter glue like I do, pat it on. That's what I'm doing, and you see how pigmented and wonderful these shades look. So just pat it on. Pat, pat, pat it on. Pat, pat, pat it on. Pat, pat, pat it on. That's all you gotta do, bro. Just pat it on. I don't remember if anybody I follow has a code with What'sUp Beauty. I don't think they have codes with influencers. That's why I had to wait so long to grab them, because when I didn't grab when it first came out, and then the Geodes one came out. This was the one I was most intrigued by. The first one looked nice, and because they were a new brand, I wanted to try it, but at the same time I was like, it's not really calling to me. Like this one was calling to me, and I was like, ooh. So I was so glad that I found out they were having 4th of July sale, so I could get it. So we're gonna go back into the Desert Monsoon palette now and use that shade Thunder. You know, that really dark one that I've been using to work on the outer V before. We just need to go and airbrush this out here real quick. Kind of blend the shades in together to give that radiant effect. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's why I was turning my head sideways so you can see exactly what I'm doing in each spot. So yeah, that's what we're looking like. Take my clean brush and dust all around here like so. And now we're gonna go into the shade Citrine. That's the lighter shade next to the green. Pop that in the inner corner. Here, everyone's here. Look how gorgeous this eyelid is. So let's back up and talk about my thoughts about this brand's palettes overall. So out of the 2 palettes, I can easily say my favorite one is the Geodes one. I just like the way the color stories are set up. You got this cute little like pinkish purple side of a quad, and then you got this more earthy tone quad on this side. So if you want to use this as your crease shade, you want to use this as your darkening outer V shade. If you're lighter, and then put this on your lid, you can, or you can put this all over your lid, put this in your inner corner, put this in your crease, put this all over your lid, put this in your inner corner. So I love the way that this palette is set up. So I easily can say that if I recommended you get one, I recommend the Geodes one. I love the color story of this. I love the look I came up with this. The only downside to this one is if you're like me in like a deeper outer V shade, you're not going to have that. But I mean, worst come to worst, you can use your bronzer as your outer V shade just to get the look that I achieved. The Desert Monsoon, I'm not that crazy about. It's okay. It's just this shade was difficult to blend. And then again, what I don't like about this is it seems to be only light neutrally colored masks to go with all these fun colorful shimmers. So this one I'm not necessarily excited about or recommend that you get, but I do really like the Geodes. So if I told you to get any palette from this brand, it would be the Geodes, and I want to see what they're going to come with that after that. But I'm going to hold on to both of them for now. I'll think about decluttering Monsoon just because I'm really not that into it, but I like the shimmers in it enough to hold on to it. And it's not like the mattes were bad, it's just like I said, the dark one is difficult to blend out. So those are my thoughts on the palettes. I love the Geodes one, which is the newest one they launched. So definitely check that out if you're interested in the brand, because that's my recommendation. I mean, look how gorgeous this eye looks. And the fact that that yellow was popping and booming the way it was on the white base. Because I have a lot of stuff I put on white bases that's yellow and still doesn't show up with the opacity that that did. So I'm super impressed with that palette. So those are my thoughts. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.